Yeah, the runners seemed a little tilted after that. And we have sound. And
I can't blame them, and we're off.
No sword start this time. Apparently you can tell from the uncle will actually be holding his sword whenever he walks out of the house. Spoiler alert.
Wow, spoilers? Just 5 seconds into the run? That sounds unfair.
Let's see what we get from the uncle today.
Please not bombs, please not bombs, please not bombs. Weapon of choice is going to be the bow.
That's always handy. That actually does stuff as well, unlike most of the other starts. We can maybe kill us ourselves some armless knights soon.
Yeah, definitely. And a nice bomb drop there for Aeide. And Aeide actually cited the bow as his favorite item to get first in the realm.
HexMage was more of a fan of the swords, keeping it conventional. He's a fan of the hammer as well. Likes to hit stuff up close.
It's going to be a quite straightforward escape. The bow is a very powerful weapon to have this early on.
Yeah, and see if HexMage can farm a few guards and get his bomb drop.
I saw that Aeide got that 20 rupee from somewhere. So another bomb for Aeide.
Always handy. We're going to need about 6 or so of those to clean out everything we need to.
I believe for every single item location that is available to you right now, you need 9 bombs for all of them. But you tend to find some along the way, and not everyone checks the genus and ice cave.
Yeah, and there'll be the opportunity to buy some if worst comes to worst anyway. Well, hopefully if we get some money.
Both get a 5er from that guard.
Yeah, Aide's sitting in a fairly healthy 45 rupees for someone that hasn't got rupees out of a chest yet.
And HexMage is using his arrows a bit more liberally here.
18 should be okay if he doesn't get trolled too hard by the rat.
You start with 30 arrows. That tends to be good enough.
Let's see if we see arrow strats or pot strats against the guard down here.
How many arrows is it you need? 4?
I think it's 4, yes. Sounds about right.
Oh, that's 8 bomb drop though.
Yep, this fixes all of HexMage's problems, and it is 4 after all.
It's gonna be very happy to find that.
Heart container is always useful.
I've seen many seeds just have a trunk load of hearts early on. Then it kind of dies down, but they still tend to end with 13, 14 heart container.
Yeah, it seems to be the norm in this version. I had a hype cave yesterday with a heart container on the generous guy and then 4 quarters in the back, which was funny.
That is hype cave in a nutshell.
I don't think we're ever going to get a good hype cave after the one the other day with free progression items.
Which was also the Lanmola seed. And that seed had everything.
Good seed. Push your way through the rest of the skip.
Yeah, they should both be fine.
Yeah, bow's a nice safe start. See, HexMage didn't pick up his magic in the sewer. Let's see if he gets any magic using equipment. He might regret that a little.
I always like picking up that magic because it's not all that easy to get it early on.
5 more chests with a map still about to be grabbed, so maybe get something of use before the end of the skip.
Or just a bunch of rupees, which is still quite nice since they will have to check the bottle merchant.
Nobody getting trolled by snakes in that room?
Arrow's very convenient for killing that single one, and there's the blue mate.
I'm sure Aeide will be pleased at that. He claims that he's been known to take too much damage and likes his meal upgrades.
HexMage with a little dodge there on the bat. Oh, that snipe though. It's really good.
Yeah, both players got their rat quite easily. Aeide was trying to troll him a little, but he spotted him.
And our chest back here today will have a big heart. No, not that cane, and 20 rupees.
At least we have a bow, so Lamolas won't be too hard today.
It almost feels like we're talking more about that seed than this actual match here.
It's escapable. Talk about this season.
Hopefully Kakariko will open things up for our players, because right now nothing has been unlocked for them.
Yeah, involve a bit of sequence breaking to put that bow to use, but there's a lot of chests kicking about before we need to resort to that. Both players noticing that the map is in the Sanctuary chest.
Yeah, indeed. That was a red pennant in Eastern, and a crystal 5 in Tower of Era, and 7 at Desert.
Pendant Eastern, definitely gonna dip in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would actually consider going there right now.
And it's clear enough Kakariko is still reasonably nice. Like, you'll end up saving quite into Link's house eventually. And we aren't going to be short on bombs like ever in the seed now. Tree pools being nice.
Indeed, but the crab only with a single rupee is a bit disappointing.
Both players checking Lumberjack, finding a heart container.
There's still been a lot of AGA 1 seeds this tournament, so that doesn't actually tell us anything right now.
It's still handy to check it while you're in the area. I find that you aren't actually up there very often, so checking it while you can is always useful.
Yeah, the only other time is when you're going up Death Mountain. Oh, that hookshot is going to be very useful when they get there.
Yep. Big shot unlocks a few locations in Death Mountain if we opted to sequence break or find a lamp or flute.
We'll need a lift upgrade or flute before that happens. So right now, this hookshot also doesn't really unlock anything.
Yeah, it'll be handy as a weapon in the mini Moldorm cave. Find arrows a little inconsistent with those things. The hookshot has a nice big hitbox.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. HexMage is pulling a single rupee, and so does Aeide. Still a little bit more. They will be fine, however, for the ball immersion.
Yeah, there's a bunch of 5s in Blind's Hut, which I'm sure they'll pick up.
Yeah, that's 30 rupees down there, putting HexMage at 99, and there is a single rupee on the first floor.
We'll see if he needs to resort to that.
Let's see what the thief has in store for us today. It's gonna be a lot of rupees and some love. Following a little bit more rupees and oh, a Bombo's tablet. That's nice to have.
Bobo's medallion has the potential to be useful later. You might need a medallion for dungeon entrance, or maybe even to use at Nice Palace.
I said Bombo's tablet, right?
You did.
At least I noticed it. With that rupee pickup, he'll be very safe going through Kakariko. Aeide may even opt to buy some bombs since he's sitting a little bit low.
Yeah, seems like a fair play. I'll be load of rupees towards the Resora fund as well.
Yeah, the Sora rip-off fan club, I guess.
We still have to check it, unfortunately. Can't just assume he's going to rip us off.
That's the case. It's a nice early red mail. There are the flippers. I guess we will see a early Sora today.
Yeah, that's handy. A lot of players will opt to check the water locations anyway, but that means they're most definitely in logic, which is always good.
Here's the bomb capacity from the ball merchant today.
See if we get any chicken clips. I doubt it.
I've seen fewer and fewer players do the chicken clip lately. Oh, there's our first sword.
Always handy. Make combat a little more straightforward, less menuing.
So no bottle during Kakariko. It's always a bit annoying for Kid. Getting that routed in later can be quite tricky without the flute.
Yeah, without a flute or mirror, he has a tendency to just end up not getting his bottle for a while. Hopefully, if a bottle does show up shortly, there's nothing too important on Kid.
I've seen seeds where you've had 3 bottles at 20 minutes, and those where the first bottle was an hour in.
Speaking of the first bottle, we have a bottle with a fairy in it in the library.
Whether or not that bottle is actually the bottle for Sick Kid, we'll have to wait and see.
Both players opting to save and quit, probably head down to the dam area.
Yeah, it's the most likely and straightforward play. I'm expecting both our players here to try and get the Ruby count up to 500 and head towards Sora after that, but Aeide is picking up some hearts, so he may be opting to Eastern. Nah, he's just playing it safe.
Hookshot will speed up this little dam check a bit. It'll be a bit of a clip. Or not.
Doesn't quite get it.
It is a lot easier to do that with the mirror than with the hookshot. Being known to miss it like half the time myself.
He doesn't get it either. Oh, that hammer.
Still no actual progression yet, but we have a lot of items. Well, I suppose we have flippers.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. All these extremely useful items that don't unlock anything except for Sora.
Well, it won't be hurting for combat potential anymore. The hammer does tempered sword damage. He's very, very strong against a few of the light world bosses. Mainly Moldorm.
I mean, this looks like a pretty safe seed for our players. 7 hearts red mail already with both and hammer.
Yeah, we'll be spending most of our time looking for items as opposed to trying to complete dungeons, it would seem.
This mini Moldorm cave today is gonna hold another item. Wait, what is going on here? Okay, a piece of heart. And another piece of heart. And bone capacity upgrade. But that's powder and ice rod. 2 more items that actually unlock a single item location in Batcave.
Yeah, we can get there with hammer. I could see that happening sooner rather than later, given the way the seed's flowing. And ice rod's a nice item to find early. It only gets Trinex, but like it has a tendency to troll really hard because of that fact. It's good to have.
I'm seeing a little bit of a variation here. HexMage checking out Ice Rod Cave, while Aeide decides to skip that. Flute is on the island today. So if mirror is required or that is needed for Death Mountain, the mirror has to be somewhere.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how that plays out. And given that Flute is up, or we need the mirror to get there, there's a limited number of places the Moon Pearl and Gloves can be as well.
Yeah, and Ice Rod Cave providing nothing as usual. Hobo with an error capacity upgrade.
You'd see HexMage going for a swim after this.
And this flute could actually turn out to be a red herring depending on the crystal locations in the Dark World.
Yeah, it would be interesting if it is. The flute's a very useful item either way, but we'll see how it pans out.
And Aeide is going to check out Ice Rod Cave as well, just taking a bit of a different route here.
He's going to be a little disappointed at what he finds in there.
Now, I'd love to see Aeide actually taking the whirlpool that is in this area because that will take you back to Lost Woods, so you can just go and check the magic bath. That'd be a really cool route.
That would be very cool. Let's see if that happens. HexMage will probably be heading down to near sort of Ice Palace location to hit that whirlpool over to Zora.
Yeah, they are running out of options outside of Aeide in the Eastern, so Zora is the straightforward play. It's still a bit worrying about that rupee count.
Quite true. Need 4 chests or 4 item locations to check before Zora, so might have a few cash issues.
Even a 100 rupee here is not going to be enough for our players. Let's see what the waterfall has in store. Well, that was some very good Forget I said anything.
The money in these seeds definitely just wants to make a fool out of us. Well, that 300 is definitely going to be useful for Zora, and those gloves will give us access to... does it give us access to anything at the minute, logically?
Well, we get the other cane in just a minute here, and our players, they just have everything except for the Moon Pearl, it feels like.
There's still a fair few locations left. There's a few chests in Eastern and Sahasrahla left, and along with the ever trolling Guinness Cave.
I've seen some open seeds, but I think I've only seen 1 or 2 yet seeds this tournament, but this could end up being one. There's a Sora ripoff though, as expected.
Of course.
Once they get Moon Pearl though, they have a lot of areas to check since they already have Dark Vault access.
Indeed they do.
I imagine Eastern is the straightforward play here.
More than likely. There's at least 5 items over there. Probably 6 if we just sequence break.
Yeah, I imagine both our players are confident enough in the darkroom navigation to get to Armos.
Yeah, the first darkroom in Eastern's pretty straightforward, but the darkroom with the green guys whose name escapes me can be a bit tricky because the fact they make no noise at all can throw you off a lot.
Yeah, the Igors can be quite annoying.
That's the one, Igor.
Yeah, the names don't always make much sense. Well, there's
a Moon Pearl. HexMage opting to not check Eastern after all. Don't really blame him at being the red pendant.
Yeah, precisely. Just so many item locations are now available to our player. Yeah, do continue.
They've even got 8 hearts and red mail. They aren't even going to have like a dangerous, like, sort of scamper through Dark World, avoiding everything.
Yeah, I mean, they are extremely safe with their current equipment. They're basically just missing a sword to be fully complete in that regard. Now, for players who recently tuned in, the flute is on the Lake Hylia island.
I'm keeping that in mind for later, but until we get a Dark World map check here shortly, we don't even know if the flute's required. And
yeah, and I think that Aeide is, Aeide is going to sequence break, but I think HexMage is just going to jump straight into Thieves Town.
Seems like a strong play. We get our map check.
That was a green pendant at Thieves Town and blue at Turtle Rock. I didn't see where the other red crystal was.
I think it was in Palace of Darkness. It was either in Palace of Darkness or Ice Palace. It was in that quadrant of the map.
Well, we are looking for the mirror then, and the flute is required.
Hopefully those guys will show up shortly. Let's see HexMage making a trip into Skullwoods.
And Aeide manages to squeeze past that dead rock.
It's 220 rubies in in Skullwoods, was that?
Fast check. I'm intrigued to continue to see these, because I've had the tournaments in the past where the players, just after they get Darkhold access, they decide to sequence break up to Death Mountain instead.
Yeah, it's happened a few times. I've seen. It's an interesting play, but like, I feel following the seed in the Dark World is kind of where it's wanting you to go. And to be honest, we could just go and do Palace of Darkness now. There's a lot of chests up there.
It's got the hookshot to check the eastern area. I mean, he can check everything also. I forgot the hammer with Tower of Hera.
No fire source to do Hera Basement, unfortunately.
And no book or Master Sword for the tablet, and he's getting blocked here by the Dead Rock.
He could have just whipped out his powder, but opted to not.
Oh, HexMage, you need some magic for Kane.
There's that magic he didn't pick up at the very, very start, coming back to bite him.
Yeah, but on the other hand, how are you supposed to know that you will be in Skullwoods at 21 minutes with Kane of Samaria?
True. It's a touch original. Aeide checking the rest of Paradox Cave.
And HexMage's gonna grab the full magic in here.
Shield and 5 rupees, not worse.
And the shield is always nice to have as a bit of an extra.
Yeah, there's a few things it blocks, I suppose. So it does lead towards Fire Shield. I likes me some Fire Shield.
Yeah, the fire shield looks really cool. So it's gonna grab a 5er. Oh, there's our Master Sword. Piece of heart on our left side. And over on the right side, we will get ourselves a big heart and 20 rupees.
Master Sword's a Master Sword. Increases their combat potential a bunch. Lets them do Sword Beam strats.
And Master Sword is always a required item. HexMage did go up there and check Bumper Cave. I didn't quite see what was on there, though.
I didn't catch it myself. I was watching Aeide in his wonderful bomb jump there to avoid having to climb up Paradox Cave again. Or down Paradox Cave, I suppose.
That was a really nice bomb jump. He's not gonna grab those bombs up on that island, though. In Sea House, we have, well, there are 3 other bombs there.
See it heading off to Tower of Hera, not opting to check Spiral Cave quite yet.
It's like gonna take that on the way back.
And we have all the, well, hopefully we have all the equipment necessary to do Hera. Basement being required could cause problems.
Yeah, this is a bit of a risk. And this first item here is the big key, so he can at least get the crystal.
Hopefully there's nothing too important in the basement.
And HexMage is gonna do the chest minigame here, and then I believe he will go into Thieves Town. It is a green pennant, but it's an easy check, loads of items.
And lots of items, and we can even check the big chest if it's necessary. We have our first item in Hera, just an arrow capacity upgrade.
Here's the Thieves Town dip.
It's so slow without boots, but we don't really have a choice yet.
Yeah, if those boots even are required, we don't even know that yet, but the boots are locking a bottle at library.
We could have a unconventional fetch quest.
HexMage finds the unique 10 bombs, which is the bomb starting item.
We never have enough bombs.
Well, Aeide actually only has a single bomb right now.
Just opting to take the plunge.
May just have decided to do that because he only has a single bomb, or just want to play it safe. So was the second item found in Hera yet?
Not yet. We found both of the dungeon items. There's still the small key, could potentially be in the basement, or the second item that will be on Moldor.
Just a 50-50 here for Aeide, as HexMage is continuing through Thieves Town. He's a little bit low, but he should still be quite safe with that red mail, grabbing that heart there.
As Kena burn it as well, in case he wants some extra safety in the hellway.
Yeah, the hellway is always a hell, as to speak. Aeide taking a fall from the troll door.
Yeah, sometimes he just really doesn't want you on that platform with him. A few frustration slashes.
HexMage just powers through hellway. Now, players do also have the powder, as a very helpful user in our live chat pointed out.
And Aeide gets Troll Arm down second time and finds his second item. So basement not required. You can't even get in the basement. The key's locked in the basement.
Speaking of fire sources, HexMage found Fire Rod in Thieves Town.
That might send him back to Skullwoods to finish that off.
Indeed it would, though I'm never a fan of doing Mothula with fire sword.
Is a bit nasty.
So at this point, get the mirror. The mirror gets us the flute, and that means if our players are proficient at dark rooms, it's just medallion for Mire and Mitz that's left.
Yeah, pretty much. Between the two of them, anyway.
I mean, I don't really like to talk about required items for Go mode before 30 minutes into the run, but this is one of those seeds.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like a fast one.
I'm gonna see a Batcave check here from Aeide.
It's been open for quite a while. Hopefully we'll find something interesting in here.
Oh, that fairy is really annoying HexMage. I believe HexMage must have counted the remaining items, which is why he's skipping the chest. Oh my!
What was that? I was looking at the other screen.
Batcave with the mirror.
Ooh, very nice. That gives us a flute as well. It's going to be extremely useful. I was going to mention there, HexMage is actually aware that the key is in the big chest, the small key. That's 2 dungeons with an inaccessible small key.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the small key can't actually be on blind, because if you could like intentionally soft lock yourself in the dungeon, like key lock yourself. It'd be really, really dumb to do, but you can do it.
Well, HexMage finishes off blind without any major difficulties. Never really threatened because he had the Cane of Berna. Grabs the green pendant.
Fire Rod in Thieves Town, that's a good enough haul.
Yeah, this seed has basically given our players access to almost everything.
Yeah, it's looking at we can go anywhere. We could do Swamp Palace. We could do Palace of Dark. We could do pretty much anything except Mire, unless Mire's Bombos. Oh, we can't get the Mire yet because we're still looking for a myth.
Yeah, the myths are needed for Ice Palace, Mr. Mire, and Turtle Rock.
I'm just getting a bit ahead of myself there.
Well, this seed has given so many items, it's difficult to keep track of everything. It's almost a bit shocking that they haven't gotten myths yet. The digging game, however, just with 50 rupees.
Well, it's a problem that can occur in this kind of seed. Like, we've got so much stuff and we have so many itms to check. It's like, where the hell are Titansmiths? It could be anywhere.
Yeah, that is a very genuine concern right now.
Like you could see both of our players just going for density. Oh, and there's the boots on Stumpy. That'll speed up HexMage's checks.
And gives him the first bottle in library.
Potential good item there. If Bat has taught us anything, it's that fetch quests are the way to do it today.
We've just hit 30 minutes, and just look at the number of items that our players have right now.
Yeah, we're rolling in them.
You imagine Aeide. I'm sorry, but you imagine Aeide is going to take this path after he's done with the Skullwoods and Thiefstone.
Yeah, head down south, and he can even finish off by getting his flute.
I came off today with a piece of heart and 5 rupees. Oh, there's our lamp, air capacity upgrade, and 3 bombs. Considering this seed, that's still a good hype.
Yeah, there weren't very many items that could have been in it, and the lamp does make things a little easier.
So we're just looking for the myths, and if this is bombos for Meyer, myths is go mode.
There's still a lot of places that could be. We'll see which player chooses correctly.
HexMage is going to take the pyramid and then likely dip into pod. And while HexMage did get the faster boots here, he is down a sword upgrade to Aeide.
Yeah, and until he heads up Death Mountain, which there's our sword upgrade.
I just shouldn't be talking at all.
Well, that's like the exact opposite of a commentator's curse.
I think that's the 3rd or the 4th time I've mentioned something, and then the players get it immediately.
So those Titan myths then, where they at?
The first chest in Palace of Darkness.
You heard it here first.
I mean, that would be crazy.
It would be. Undoubtedly, we'll end up having to get Ether off the pedestal or something after that. Aide's checking his Village of Outcasts. Might see a Thieves' Town dip off him.
So Tempered is going to be picked up by Aeide later if he decides to make that decision to go up to the pyramid.
It's a fairly out of the way location, but you might see it.
Regardless of who you are, if you're Aeide or HexMage, you have to be quite worried about the number of items you're getting here and the potential that your opponent may even be close to go moding.
Yeah, definitely. HexMage especially, since we see a lot of sequence breaking in the early parts of these races, and I feel that HexMage might even think that Aeide has went up Death Mountain already, which has a lot of item locations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This mirror for Aeide is going to help him check some additional item locations, and that may be the item that HexMage holds off on. But he did get that boot, so he may still go back to Kakariko to pick up the bottle in the library.
Yeah, he could very well, and while he's in the area, he'll check Sick Kid and then probably check back and get his mirror there.
As always, routing Palace of Darkness without the mirror is never a fun journey.
Yeah, get us some keys and then hopefully go from there.
Hey, you get a key, you open a locked door, you find another key, yay.
So many key trades.
Yeah, HexMage just used the key, and I think it's going to be a small key in this chest. Oh, actually, no, it's the book.
I can't remember the last time I saw that not be a small key.
Yeah, me neither, but that book actually opens up desert.
Yeah. Gives us access to Desert Palace and gives us access to the tablets. Now that gives us access to Ether Tablet for HexMage. Would be both for Aeide. There's Aeide picking up his boots at Stumpy.
Gonna prove to be very helpful. I don't know our player's proficiency in doing silverless Ganon, which could actually be a thing in the seed.
Yeah, given that we have so much, if we find Titans anytime soon, Silvers might end up just out there. But we should have Tempered Sword by then.
And look at Aeide here, he's making the play into Swamp.
interesting. It's good item density, and it is a required dungeon. Maybe he likes
And he
swamp.
can full clear. It is a full clear, it's 6 items. It's still long and you don't really want to, but, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with making this call.
Yeah, Swamp's a decent player. It's like, he just picked up bits, so it's not even that slow. He's quickly double checking to make sure Swamp's a crystal.
And this first chest here always has a small key.
Sure, all our key sanity players know all about that.
Yeah, and HexMage here is going for the bomb jump on the bridge. This is the hardest bomb jump in the game, I'd say. Doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, it is very awkward. It would save him a lot of time having to walk through the dark maze twice, however.
Yeah, because it doesn't have mirror. He could set up a death warp, but with red mail, that's still going to take a while.
Even then, I'm not even sure if he wants to go back to the entrance of the dungeon. He probably just wants to walk the wrong way through the dark maze. Because he will be able to loop right around the dungeon and then end up at Helmsor. He's opted to just go through the dark maze instead.
Yeah, if you fall twice, you realize that you can't really be spending that much more time. Have magic, that's also a very nice item to have.
Yeah, it's another good safety for Ganon, and will help out whenever he goes back to see Mothula.
It's another small key for HexMage. It's going to be joined by another medallion.
And we have a 2/3 chance that we can get in the bar whenever the Titans eventually show up.
This seed feels so weird in contrast to all the other, or most of the other races that we've had this tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Doesn't look like it's going to be letting down anytime soon.
He's going to find himself the big key in a very convenient chest location. I believe that is Vanilla Compass.
Yeah, it's always handy. It means, like, the worst feeling in Swamp is whenever it takes you forever and then you have to walk back out of, like, the entire dungeon to check the chest. Aide's opting to just check the north side, hoping for not needing to go left side.
And HexMage is setting up this death warp here. And this could be a risk for Aeide, but he may also just decide to go back in after.
I haven't been counting the items, but if he has been, he could very well just be aware that there's only 4 items left, and they could just all be back here. There are 4 chests.
He found a single arrow, and then he found a piece of heart in the big chest. He's gonna find a red shield here and the map there, so there is at least 1 item over on the left side.
Let's see if Aeide opts to gamble that or go back in.
There's our final sword.
Yeah. You can see Aeide with Butter Sword if he does head up towards Pyramid and Catfish.
It's a really giving seed to our players.
You're still assuming we aren't going to spend an hour looking for Titans.
What did you say? Can you repeat that, please?
Sorry, you're still assuming that we aren't going to spend an hour looking for Titans Mints.
I mean, that is a possibility, but they have so many item locations to check, and they may just find it along the way. Thus far, this seed has just given them everything, and the seed may just continue to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a race of execution at this rate.
I don't really think that this may be a race that is decided by who gets mitts first, and it may just come down to who defeats the bosses the fastest. As Aeide showcases here, he can do that very fast, even though it's just for a piece of heart, but that is going to be a second crystal.
Let's see if he opts to go left side for the last item, or just opts to leave it. I could see me not going back into Swamp if that was the situation. It is doing the sensible thing.
Yeah, it's a safe. Turtles here are causing some issues for HexMage.
He gets them down relatively sharpish.
Yeah, it's always
Got
a
them all in
tricky
the
record. It's heading up here to Helmasaur. It's gonna need 17 hits with the hammer. Those fires causing some issues for HexMage.
Yeah, Helmasaur isn't being a good doggy today.
Looking for hammer. And switches to bow. It's a good thing he has red mail because he's taking quite a lot of hits here.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. This isn't turning into the safest of Helmasaur fights. But we get him in the end.
Yes, let's manage to get him down. Let's see what our good old pal Helmasaur King has in store for us today. It's going to be 20 rupees.
And crystal's a crystal.
Now, as I go back and look through our players, Abe does not have the fire rod, so he never dipped into Thieves Town.
And that might come back to bite him in the ass, but it's a relatively fast clear, and hopefully he'll go in there at some stage.
So Aide with the mirror and HexMage with the fire rod as our main item differences right now.
HexMage looks like he's off to get his bottle, or no, we're off to Death Mountain.
And Bonk Rocks.
Bonk Rocks, that's the one.
Oh, shovel is the final item for Aide in Swamp.
Fetch quests.
Let's see where Aide is heading now.
I see him heading off to get his flute, probably. Maybe via Hype Cave.
Yeah, he didn't check Hype Cave beforehand. He just went straight into that dungeon wanting to clear it. And speaking of Death Mountain, now this trip is actually not technically required since the mirror is open and therefore the flute is open.
Well, you still probably want to check the old man, but HexMage doesn't have his mirror yet, so he doesn't have that choice, unfortunately.
And for our new players that are just tuning in, the Lake Hylia Island holds the flute, and it looks like that's where Aide is going right now. Also, the library has a bottle, and neither player has picked up a bottle yet.
Yeah. Hex is going to be able to check an extra item compared to Aide whenever he was up here because of the book and Master Sword combo. Be able to check the ether tablet.
Aide, not really sure if he wanted to save and quit there or not, but decides to do it. And we're gonna see a Spy Cave check here from a HexMage.
Another location that Aide skipped while he was up here.
So it's a little bit tricky to route this in if you decide to not do Spiral Cave over on the eastern side.
Let's see if Spike Cave is holding anything today. Just a piece of heart.
And they got enough hearts since they have red mail.
Looks like Aide's heading off to activate his flute. Let's see where we'll go from there.
I think it's gonna head into the library and pick up the bottle.
Seems like a strong play.
Let's gonna do that first. Oh, HexMage just a little bit off there with the movement, falls down. This fairy is also a very nice defensive pickup.
Yeah, it's a lot of bonus health because of the defenses they have from the red mail. It looks like he's gonna cash that in for an item right away.
Yeah, it is routing this very well. And our good friend the sick kid brings 50 rupees.
It's sitting quite the fortune there. Activate our flute and probably flute away, which is unfortunate since Thieves Town is somewhere we needed to go to.
Yeah, I think he's... yeah, where is he going? And there's HexMage picking up his tempered sword.
More firepower is always useful.
Aeide is taking the shovel location. Now, Aeide also can't get into desert because the book is in pod, but I mean, that has to be a pretty high priority right now.
Yeah, he's got everything to complete the dungeon. I could see him heading there relatively soon.
Interesting to see here what's on the ether tablet for HexMage. Also, just a piece of art from the digging.
Aid with that shovel dash.
It's gonna be pod for Aeide here. And this item here for HexMage could be a very important one, and it's just a big heart.
It looks like it is going to make the play in the past darkness. Which probably means we aren't going to see a pyramid out of him for a while, which means there will be no other.
And Aeide will be able to route this much faster with the mirror.
Yeah, definitely. She'll be pleased to be... Sure, it's a good feeling to head into past darkness with all of the tools needed, plus the mirror. Nice and speedy routing. HexMage is going to be pleased to find out that he doesn't need to do a basement check.
Even though he came up here with both fire sources, when Aeide was here he didn't have one of them. So both our players are right now just clearing what the other player has already done. It's going to be interesting to see where HexMage decides to go after this.
Yeah, he has a few choices. He could head off to Desert Palace, or we could check. It's pretty much just Desert Palace or back for HexMage. I believe we got both of the items in Skullwood, so going back for Mostula isn't a massive priority.
And you can just combine getting the crystal there and then picking up the mirror from Batcave.
Yeah, seems strong.
Desert is technically 4 items since it's the Ledge and a Genus as well, so there's some nice stuff there.
Quite true.
Aeide also getting his half magic, and we'll see how HexMage handles Trolldorm today. Oh no.
Does that count as 2 falls then? So it's 2 falls for HexMage and 1 fall for Aeide?
Yeah, that hole there in the middle is always 2 floors.
I mean, people wonder why we call him Trolldorm. The small key to unlock the basement is in the basement. Question posed by Sias22 in chat.
It's indeed the case. We still have left to check Eastern, I believe, since both players opted out from that.
Yeah, they found their moon pillar and just bailed out.
Aeide figuring out that you can't actually throw bombs over there. HexMage got his revenge on Moldorm. He did not do a Spiral Cave on the way up, I presume, so he's gonna... Or did he? Oh, he did. Or?
I don't think he did. Did he check anything on the right side of Death Mountain there?
He did, because he got the sword.
Oh yes, he did, yeah. No, he must have, he probably went into Hera afterwards, like he climbed back up and then he hasn't checked Spiral yet, would be the case.
I mean, regardless, Spiral Cave didn't have anything of value, so...
That's true, but he came up from No, yeah, he doesn't have a mirror. Yeah, he hasn't checked Sparrow. I'm thinking out loud.
He's gonna see the desert play here from HexMage. Well, if they needed more safety, there's the net.
Or Swagging strats. Aeide gets a nice route through Palace of Darkness, getting thanks to the excessive use of that mirror.
He's been able to do this much faster than HexMage. He's just gonna find 3 bombs at the Gina. I think he's a bit confused. Or he was just trying to reset the enemies.
Alright. Must have been someone trolling him. Get a nice smooth full clear of desert here.
And HexMage charges into desert. Imagine Aeide is gonna head to desert soon enough since he found the book here in the Palace of Darkness.
It seems like a sensible play.
So it's a small key or a big key on the torch here. And today it's the big key.
Luckily for us, we have boots, so the Bitslock Desert isn't particularly relevant.
And it's still important to bear in mind the differences here between the Aeide's mirror and HexMage's fire rod.
Yeah, the mirror that Aeide had, it's in an overworld location. It's at Mad Bat. So it's a relatively straightforward location to check for HexMage, hopefully, whenever he's checking bottle maybe, or the bottle maybe. However, the fire rod that Aeide's missing is in a pendant dungeon, Pendant Thieves Town, quite deep in Pendant Thieves Town, so that might elude him for a while.
On the other hand, the mirror is allowing Aeide to beat these dungeons faster than HexMage.
Yes, he's definitely making up a lot of time. Like, Aeide looks a little behind because HexMage finished pot already, but Aeide did Swamp Palace already. It's a reasonable lead.
This is a very close race. It's very difficult to tell right now who is in the lead. I believe HexMage found nothing over on the eastern side.
Yeah, the only really particularly relevant item that he found over there was his sword upgrade. Oh, in desert, sorry, that we're talking about. Yes, there was nothing there, unfortunately.
Yeah, HexMage, where is his final sword upgrade? Oh, it's in Swamp, right?
Yeah, there's one in Swamp, and then one on Pyramid, or the 2 we're missing. Well, one.
Yeah, Aide's
missing.
Aide's missing the Pyramid, and HexMage is missing the Swamp.
So HexMage will undoubtedly get better, unless he go modes Swamp Palace and skips all of the chests at the back, which is unlikely. Generally, you pick up those chests anyway, they're quite fast.
I think the only way for that to happen is if Sick Kid has... no, not Sick Kid. Forget what I said. We've already checked Sick Kid. And Aeide finishing Helmsor King.
Yeah, nice smooth Helmsor King fight. Aide's equipping his foot a little early. I think he needs the mirror first.
No, he can actually go straight into Eastern here just to check the item locations if you want to.
Is a nice fast check.
Decides not to do that. HexMage had a pretty straightforward fight here against Landmolas, finds the compass and nothing in desert.
See Aeide heading off the desert to get his crystal there. See where Hex goes now.
Yeah, Hex is starting to run out of options because he doesn't have that mirror. So I imagine it's a Skullwoods play. He has both items in Skullwoods though.
It's the neck of the woods he needs to be in to find his mirror. Let's see if another item that HexMage hasn't dealt with yet is the green pendant he's had from Blind for quite a while.
Oh yeah, that's right. Completely forgot that. He's gonna get this bottle now and hopefully check Batcave with this and get his mirror.
That might even dissuade him from going to Skullwoods quite yet. He might end up going.
Yeah, Skullwoods is it's a go mode Mothula at this point because they have both items.
Yeah, definitely so.
Oh, he's gonna get his mirror now, and that's fantastic for him.
Yes, definitely is. HexMage is probably going to pull a bit ahead here. Hopefully Aeide doesn't skip out on Thieves' Time for too much longer. There's very little else he can actually check after this desert play, however. He might end up being forced into Thieves' Time.
Yeah, he has that Eastern, but he decided to skip out on that, so I imagine he's gonna go into Thieves first.
It is slightly higher item density, and given that it's 5 items, counting the green pendant, as opposed to Eastern 3.
HexMage very happy to pick up that mirror.
I'll check the bottle kid, and then more than likely go and get his flute.
And then following that flute, Swamp is likely going to be his play.
Seems fair. So where could our Titan mitts really be here? Catfish is like the only really outlying spot that neither player has checked.
Catfish, we have the Graveyard in the Dark World, and then Eastern?
Yeah, I suppose there's Eastern, and then there's 2 spots at that graveyard actually, because we can get into King's Tomb via mirroring, and then up to the mirror spot as well. Well, I suppose we have all of the mirror locations. We have the mirror, or the spot south of Grove, and Bumble's Tablet as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that Bumble's Tablet. It's gonna be Swamp first, and it's a full clear. We've already seen this.
I think both players just catching up on crystals.
That is indeed the case.
I wouldn't actually like to be either of these players if the mitts end up being an Eastern. This chat's pointing out if the mitts are an Eastern, your opponent probably sequence broke for them at like 10 minutes. And that's a bad feeling.
Yeah, it may be HexMage thinking here that Aeide have picked up the mirror much faster.
He wouldn't be wrong. The mirror has been open from like before they had the moon prop. They had our hammer and powder very early.
Yeah, this save gave them pretty much everything they wanted in the first 30 minutes, and then it's been a 30-minute search for Titan Smiths.
Pretty much.
See Aeide here doing this Landmola's fight, going with spins. Does not have the fire rod, does not have silver arrows, so this is about as fast as he can do it.
Pretty straightforward Landmollas either way.
Yeah, apart from that one Helmasaur fight, these boss fights have been very good.
Well, trolls aren't being trolling, but Troll Dorm are always trolls.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of take for granted it's Troll Dorm. So where will you go now, Aeide?
Pretty much has to start checking Overworld. He's out of the dungeons that he can get to, unfortunately. Well, I suppose you could go to Thieves' Town.
Starting with Death Mountain.
Might just be nipping up quickly to check Aether Tablet and Spike Cave, which unfortunately won't be anything important.
Seems like we're starting off here with Spike Cave.
Let's see if HexMage opts to check left side first, or at all. The shovel, it turned out, which was the item on left side, was nothing at all.
HexMage making the same play here as Aeide. It's only one item as Aeide on left side, and that was the shovel, and the shovel had nothing of value. Aeide here first going to check the Aether Tablet, and then head into Spike Cave, and he's gonna be disappointed with this.
There's another couple of locations marked off the list of stuff he needs to do.
And we're starting to run out of item locations here.
And there's a full route around Dark World with the mirror they need to do, which pretty sure that's where, well, it's where the Titansmiths has to be, essentially. The Titansmiths being our last item required, assuming Aether isn't required from Mara, is pretty useful because it does, like, Titansmiths unlocks a lot of locations. Like, we can't check any of Dark Death Mountain or any of the Mara area, and can't check a few dungeons as well.
I mean, the last remaining troll here is if myths are dropped from Armos, and then they need Aether, and it's like Trinex.
Yeah, that would be horrible. Well, even if we had like pedestal Aether, we're pretty much going to have two pendants anyway if myths run Armos.
Yeah, there are actually ways for seeds to be worse than it being pedestal. This is not one of them, though.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few that could be worse. At least they're doing all their dungeons in one sitting, pretty much. Like, I don't think we've had any required double dips.
Is Aeide going to the pyramid here?
Could be going to the pyramid and then off to Catfish. So get him his Butter Sword, and then Catfish is a location that nobody's checked yet.
Indeed, HexMage's Argus fight was pretty straightforward with butter and 12 hearts red mail and all that jazz.
Yep.
So Aide's also gonna get his tier 4 sword here. HexMage's gonna check Bombo's tablets. He's gonna be our first player to do that as well.
Yeah, if Catfish and Bombos are both blanks, that'll just leave the two mirror spots in the graveyard sanctuary area.
And that and Eastern.
And Eastern, yes.
Man, if myths are in the first chest in Eastern...
Yeah, that would be... It's very, very odd that neither players actually checked them, if that's the case. Aide's opting to check the mirror spots as opposed to Catfish. Higher item density, unfortunately.
Well, Aeide is gonna check this graveyard area now.
Looks like Hex is off to get his foot.
He's gonna be happy to find that. Now, King's Tome, what do you have in store for us today? What did the king leave behind to the afterlife? He left 20 rupees.
Everyone seems to leave 20 rupees.
I mean, he's a king, but I guess he was a rather poor king, or he wasn't liked very much.
Now this is the cave that I've seen troll more often than not.
So you'll be checking the ledge. It's another one of those very few item locations that remain. HexMage is going to activate his flute.
It is going to find his Titansmiths. There we go.
Well, that could be our go mode, but it depends entirely on which crystal is required for Mystery Mire.
It's also only no mode, as they say, because Aeide doesn't actually have his fire rod yet. So that's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
lead
exactly.
him even further away from Thieves' Town. So that might actually be a good thing for Aeide.
Yeah, he's gonna head into Ice Palace most likely with bombos. Oh man.
HexMage, I feel that HexMage has a big lead here because of the fact that he'll probably check the graveyard ledge pretty soon, like possibly even right now.
Is HexMage doing a pedestal check?
I think he's going, like, he has to look round to get to this portal because he has no
Oh
face.
yeah, that's right.
He's gonna check Catfish while he's here anyway.
I think HexMage may just be clearing Skull Woods now and then check the graveyard area.
Seems like a good writing choice. Might
And
even
Catfish.
Yeah, Catfish just had a quarter of heart, as none of us are surprised about that in the slightest, undoubtedly.
Never mind, HexMage is going straight to the graveyard ledge.
Good for him. It's the right call. Aeide is unfortunately heading off to the Mire area. See what Mire pendant or medallions required. Bombos. So HexMage
So this is
the enter go mode.
indeed, and with HexMage entering go mode, that will put him in a big lead.
Yep. It's HexMage's race to lose at this stage, unfortunately. So we'll see a Thieves' Town playoff Aeide anytime soon.
Yeah, and HexMage gets to go mode both Ice and Mire, and that's a fantastic feeling for him.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Now he's gonna fly to the Mire area immediately to check the medallion.
There's a mushroom, which lead Aeide on more useless fetch quests.
Now this could give him silvers. That could be the saving grace.
Opt into the ice palace first. It's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. If you know that Mire medallions ether, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do ice palace anyway. We might as well do ice palace first.
Yeah, but you get to go mode Ice Palace.
That is quite true. That is a big difference. Yep.
I still think even with this that HexMage having all the necessary items for go mode still puts him at the edge. In the lead, I mean.
It does. Especially because he had found the Titans. If he had still hadn't found the Titans, for whatever reason, he'd be in a much better position, but they've just led him so much further away from Thieves' Town.
Yeah, he's gonna clear Mire, and he's likely gonna clear Ice Palace after this.
Did we get a seed today that we don't have to go into rock? What's that all about?
Silvers are in Turtle Rock.
Undoubtedly.
Well, it did look like it was going to be a jet seed. In the end, it didn't quite turn out that way, but this is still a very fast seed.
Yeah, 108 go mode's pretty strong, or 105 or whatever it was.
And also getting to go mode 2 crystal dungeons. It's not something you see every day.
Yeah, definitely not. And this is even with a pendant, or like a full pendant dungeon cleared. You don't need Thieves' Town, but it still take a reasonable amount of time.
Now what if Sahasrara has silvers now?
HexMage has Butter Sword. I'm not sure if he cares.
It depends entirely on how confident you are in your silverless Ganon. But at this level of play and in a tournament setting, you can't just go around looking for where the silvers might be. If you can do Ganon, you must go and do Ganon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He has a lot of safeties. He still has his fairy in a bottle. He has butter sword. He has half magic. Red mail. Bunch of hearts. Relatively simple backgammon fight, I think. The only really difficult, like challenging part of Ganon, I feel, is the second phase anyway, and the butter sword speeds that a lot straight through that.
It's just important to get the torch glitch if you're doing silverless.
Yes, most definitely. Couldn't be running out of magic in the middle of a Ganon fight. It's always a bad feeling.
I wouldn't be surprised to see HexMage flying by a blue potion or something like that.
Yep. Like, I don't think he'll feel particularly behind or anything. I think he's probably feeling pretty good about his seed. Maybe he thought that he had got the mirror a bit before him, but like he knows that the graveyard ledge there is a people just don't check it early.
Aeide misrouting Meyer here does not have the big key yet. It's actually in that chest right there.
Take another lap around Meyer to get that item.
That was a very good cold stare fight from HexMage, getting two of them in the corner and finishing them off instantly.
Yeah, perfectly executed. Finds the boomerang on cold stare.
And that leaves Skullboots and Mr. Meyer. So he is very likely going to head to the Meyer area now, and he will see that Bombos is required, and that will put him in his own mind in go mode.
Yeah, definitely will. Making great time in the seat. He just like brain parted a little there and jumped off the ledge. It's like, wait a minute, I'm not going to the desert.
When your hands act before your brain.
I thought it was my mouth.
He's just presuming that this is not Ether, and he's right in that.
There's a 2/3 chance. Like, the funniest thing that could have happened there is it was Ether, and Ether was in the shed. He has to walk right around it.
Yeah, but this is Meyer and not Turtle Rock, where the medallion is always in Hookshot Cave.
True.
But this could also be a sign that he thinks that he is behind and therefore had to take this risk in Meyer not being Ether.
If that was the case, he did think he was particularly behind. I was very surprised to see him not go to Meyer before Ice Palace then to check. It's like, if he does have Meyer access, then he could have did Ice Palace faster.
Yeah, but he didn't check all the item locations in Ice.
Oh, did he not? Well, that changes things then. That is a pretty big gamble given that he didn't know what Meyer's entrance medallion was.
Or maybe he found two items and then just decided to gamble cold stare and it worked out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Aeide is going to be stuck looking for his Fire Rod in Thieves' Town for quite a while. Just rip.
That's just a sad state of affairs. And it looks so good for Aeide earlier on in the seed because he found that early mirror, which helped him a lot with the routing, got a faster Palace of Darkness.
His downfall was looking for items too hard and not checking pendant dungeons. Like, him finding the Titans when he did just lost him the race, unfortunately. He gave him too many choices, leading him too far away from Thieves' Town.
Yeah, sadly that was the case here.
HexMage is making good time through Meyer.
And we do know that the big key is in the chest just to the left of the big chest. So what about some Cane of Burna strats here on Vitreous? What do you say?
I'm not sure. Like, I feel with Butter Sword and the amount of health they have, just tanking him might have been a better idea. He's sitting at full health as well. I think you could have just tanked that, and it would have been fine.
It seems like Ace wants to play this better safe than sorry.
True. That's why he's racing and I'm not.
Those 10 arrows are actually quite good for Aid because he was running low on them.
Yeah. Always handy when that happens.
So that is crystal number 5 for Aid. Sadly enough, he's likely gonna head into ice after this.
And he's going to be stuck behind Mothula, unfortunately.
Letting out the bees, so he might actually fly to the witch first. That is indeed true. He's gonna deliver the mushroom he found in the checkerboard.
HexMage picking up his beat.
Yeah, HexMage not routing this in the fastest way, but it's Mire and it's impossible to know where the big key is gonna be.
Yeah, the big key was in a pretty trolly location.
As Aid picks up his blue potion and flies over to Ice Palace. And HexMage is going to grab his big key now and then head to Vitreous.
Yeah, heading straight there. Should have a pretty straightforward Vitreous fight. Same equipment loadout as Aid did, so maybe see the same strats. You can burn strats.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think so too. And this ice clear is going to be very slow for Aid, having to use bombos. HexMage actually using the dark room strategy to throw the Cane of Samaria block into position.
Always handy whenever there's wee setups like that. It makes things a little. It means you can think about where you're going next and whatnot, and let muscle memory do the rooms for you.
If you know that it always works, why not go for it? Also, a little bit of nice practice. Not that I really think you should be doing practice in a race setting.
Those Samaria blocks aren't like, they don't have the greatest of hitboxes when we're just going for it, so maybe he just finds it a bit more consistent like that as well. It didn't look that much slower. Fortunately, Aid's missing the quick kill on these Stalfos Knights.
Yeah, that's a very finicky bomb position you have to get there. HexMage's actually going with the strategy you suggested.
Yeah, just run up to them and slash them until they die from it.
That was pretty fast.
Like, they do have a lot of health in Red Mail, and he still has his fairy, so...
And then he just plays ping pong with the eye, and that is going to give him his 6th crystal.
Probably see a trip over to Skullwoods in the future.
The one final remaining crystal. As Aeide is still navigating through Ice Palace, and he will sadly not find what he's looking for.
It's unfortunate whenever the seed just doesn't work out for you. Because Aeide played very well, he just opted to skip Thieves Town, and that's where he needs to go. HexMage forgot he hadn't killed Mothula and was about to go up to the Ganon Star.
Or him was a little bit trigger happy with the flute. That could also happen.
True. Wouldn't be the first time I've showed up outside Ganon Star and nothing's happened. hit the pause button. It's like, wait a second, I haven't got 7 crystals.
It's happened to us all. I think the nerfs are getting a little bit to HexMage here, with some of his movement just being a little bit off. Oh, there's Aether.
At least Aeide won't have any problems getting in. At least did Mara already.
If Turtle Rock is Aether, that'd be the worst.
That would be pretty bad, actually. I don't think he'll do Turtle Rock before he does Steve's Town.
And there's also the proof that HexMage didn't get all 3 items in Ice Palace, because he didn't open that chest.
Yeah. He just decided to go mode Ice Palace and then go mode Mara for whatever reason. Which from that perspective definitely feels a bit wrong.
I don't really think he truly go moded it. It was more like he opened the chests that he found along the way.
Yeah. Open a bunch of chests and just hope for the best.
But I mean, he could have full cleared Ice Palace and then still have known that, oh, I can just head to Mire and be done with that because I have all 3 medallions.
Yeah, in the end it didn't really matter.
And HexMage here with Happy Magic and another sword from Ophili.
It is a bit odd that Skullwoods being their last crystal, but they did clear it out very, very early and just opted to not go anywhere near it until the end.
That is indeed true. And let's see how Mophila behaves today.
That's good.
And that was a happy little Mophila.
I don't think either player was in a huge amount of fear that this was a pedestal seed, so heading out to the Skullwoods neck of the woods just never really entered their heads as a big priority.
And that leaves one final location.
HexMage actually going to check the pedestal. No, I'm just going to check the pedestal there.
That'd be amazing if he decided to check the pedestal there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching Ganon's Tower, and you know what that means? There are 22 possible item locations for the big key. Where is it? Take your guesses in chat, and if you are a subscriber to any of the speed gaming channels and or have donated a total of 250 bits, you will be entering the leaderboard.
Have to make sure to actually keep count. I always casually keep count whenever I'm watching and then watch the bot to see if I win, but I actually need to keep count today.
Now I'm gonna take my guess as per usual. It's on the torch, number 3.
I'm gonna guess the Firebar room because it's never in that chest, and it's gonna be today. I just know it.
Really? I saw a seed, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, where it was there.
Nice. I'm still 0 for like a million on seeds where it hasn't been there. HexMage checking a few chests to try and pick up his silvers. See if he checks hookshotting as well.
And sitting at 12 hearts, which is relatively safe. Picking up 1 or more 2 would also be quite nice. That he's just heading straight to GT.
Seems fair.
Oh no, Aeide, please don't tell me you're going Turtle Rock.
There's a lot of chests in Dark Death Mountain that you could check as well. Where are we off to?
Bumble's tablet?
It looks that way. With him having done Ice Palace now, that gives him Fat Fairy as well. So that could be something he's after now.
Oh yeah, he's doing Fat Fairy.
Let's see what we got here. Chest number 1's 20 rupees. And the small key.
Going left side.
Yeah, see that route quite a lot. Just check those 2 chests and then head off left. Torch is nothing today.
It's a small key, and he's gonna grab that, so I'm still happy. He's not gonna have any problem with the small keys here. It's just a matter of where that big key is.
See Aeide making his way over to the Pyramid Ferry. Number
Just
4, 20. And number 5. Congratulations to Gwen as the closest supporter to 5 with a guess of 4.
What was that, the Pyramid Ferry? I didn't quite see.
I wasn't paying attention to that. I was typing in chat. Darn bot. Presumably there was nothing there, because we know where Fire Rod is. It looks like Aeide might actually head into Thieves Town right now, which is good for him.
Yeah, it's gonna give him his item for go mode. He's having a little bit of issues here with the mimics, but does get through it. Oh no, he's going Frog World Tour.
Eep.
It's just the sad state of affairs for Aeide. HexMage clears the first room without any major difficulties. Just walking up to the enemies and whacking them with the butter sword, throwing some pots. He does have all the necessary equipment, and if he wants to play it very safe, he can just use bombos. Aeide finds our third bottle at the pegs.
Hopefully Aeide doesn't put off Thieves Town for too much longer. I think he might be, unfortunately.
That is sadly that may be the case. HexMage is now done with the, I would say that's the hardest part of the gauntlet.
Yeah, most definitely. Even that last room isn't even too bad. I find it's the room with the spikes in the middle, with the ice around the edge, that is my least favourite in there. Fire rodding up some more land walls.
Getting some subpar patterns here, but he's gonna be fine. Aeide is gonna deliver in this purple chest. The Cane comes out for the Cane strats. I may confuse a lot of players when they get here if it's a Cane-less seed, which is actually a possibility.
Yeah, those we guys just Wizros, that's the one. Do die to everything. Die to arrows or sword slashes, or can you kill them with Kin of Braham, maybe? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. And Aide's getting a bit annoyed here by the water. HexMage conserving his magic using the lamp.
Keeping the big refill down in that room below, just in case, I guess.
Still gonna check chests here for silvers, or at least checks a signal.
Aeide finds a heart container on the purple chest.
And Aeide is now heading off to the Bombos tablet, which also did not have anything.
Nice, handy refill your health room over there for HexMage.
Yeah, he's fully set for both Aga and Ganon here, but Moldorm could actually be the true challenge.
And no trolling from Moldarm 2 today. Just Moldarm 1 got it.
Grabs a pack of bombs that he's not gonna use. And I think Aeide may finally be heading into Thieves Town.
He'll be finding his fire rod. I believe it was in the chest beside the hole that you blow up to let light in.
Oh yes, that is the one, so it's quite far in. Oh, nice triple there for HexMage. And unfortunately, it gets blue balled on the third round, but does get a 4 cycle.
Give Aeide 5.
So HexMage still does not have this in the bag. Silverless Ganon is still a foe.
He's going to take a fair amount of, like, Aeide still needs to do Skullwoods after this and then all of Ganon's Star. So HexMage has a fair few attempts at Ganon. See if he gets it in one or not.
Food?
We came for food, pig boy.
Yeah, I thought Ganon was the food. In reality though, we did bring the butter sword, I guess that counts as food.
True.
And the first 2 phases very fast here for HexMage. Oh, and Aeide with the God Pixel in the Hellway.
Oh, he's impressive to see. HexMage passing into phase 3 of Ganon very fast.
He's
Butter
gonna
sword
get
didn't
his
work.
fire rod.
No frustration slashes yet.
Silver arrows are located in Ganon's tower. That could be a pickup for Aeide if he decides to go the right side. You're sitting here and watching this Ganon fight here by HexMage.
And it's going well, but looks nice.
He may be switching over to the lamp soon to preserve magic. Another nice hit in there. Likes the torch. Ooh, he has to be a bit careful with his heart. Does have that fairy. I've not kept track of the number of hits. I'm sure someone has.
I think it's very, very...
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. HexMage will take his second victory in this tournament and go 2-0 following week 2. Good game, well played.
$133.50 is pretty solid time all around.
Let's see if we can get him. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview, as Aeide is working on the muffin.
Greetings.
Hello, sir. Good job.
Whoa. That was a jet seat, I think.
That was indeed a Yetseed. A good game, well played.
Yeah, I think I only made one major routing error, and that was doing Ice Palace before Misery Mire, because I didn't have Aether.
Yeah, we were going to ask you about that actually. The funny thing is, the Aether was in Ice Palace,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, we were. There's a question on the tip of everyone's tongue: is why? But yeah, mistakes happen. It was the heat of the moment.
Yeah, I was halfway down Ice Palace and thought, I shouldn't be here yet. If I don't have Aether, this is gonna suck if it's in here.
It all worked out in the end for you.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on the race?
No, I thought it was really... I think I did pretty well, except failing the hammer jump. It really helps when you get red mail that early, because I tend to take too much damage when I'm wearing green mail, but with red mail that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, you were very confident in a lot of your fights. The red mail definitely helped a lot. Your Vitruvius especially, or Vitreous especially, was very impressive. Just getting up in his face.
Yeah, you have red mail, he won't die. Normally the fight is I like the fight more when I have either silvers or cape, because that just makes the fight a joke. But red mail and butter helps as well.
Definitely does.
So how's Aeide doing?
It's actually, he had some issues because he skipped on Thieves' Town for quite a while, and then eventually found the Titansmiths. He found the Titansmiths a few minutes before you. He found the mirror a lot before you. But the Titansmiths led him in a bit of a wild goose chase, running about looking for the fire rod. He's now on his way to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I can see that happening, because Titansmiths open so much.
Yeah, he had both Misery Mire and Ice Palace done. Like, I think he had pretty much did Misery Mire, had it finished whenever you entered it.
No, okay.
But he's well on his way now. Had a few explosions going off outside Thieves' Town.
Okay.
So with an opening like this, when you get the bow, you get hammer, you get very early dark roll access, what goes through your mind when you plan to route this seed out?
Well, I try. This is maybe because I've been playing Key Sanity for the last tournament. I try to do as much in a single route as possible. So, because I didn't have mirror, I didn't have mirror or mids. I didn't want to start, for example, at Hype Cave, because it only gives me the option to go to Pod. But if I start at Thieves Town and Skullwoods, I can do the entire circle and pick up all the chests on the way. So it really depends on my items if I want to go starting at Hype Cave and go back into town, or start town and go all the way to Pod. And in this case, it gave me Lantern on the way, so it was kind of nice.
It was definitely a lot of early items. It was very, very lucrative seed. It's a very fast seed. You finish there with a 133. So
Yeah, I was thinking.
Fantastic time.
Yeah, I was thinking at the start, oh, this is going to be awesome. The only thing that controlled me is Ice Rod, and then I picked up Ice Rod.
Yeah, it turns out we didn't actually even need to go into Turtle Rock.
No.
I'm sure you were surprised about that.
Well, yeah. Normally you have to go into Turtle Rock for something at some point. But this time it was a pendant and my go mode item was mids, so could skip it.
It's always nice when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually a little bit worried that Aeide was going to head off to Turtle Rock before checking Thieves' Town.
Yeah, I might have dived in there if I found mids earlier in the seed. Like if Mirror was my last item, I might have checked Turtle Rock, but Mirror was locking to Titan's mid, so that wasn't an issue.
Yeah, it all came down to your Thieves Town play. Abe did actually make a similar route to you in the Dark World, checking the chests and Skullwoods and then heading off through Village of Outcasts. He just opted to walk straight past Thieves Town. He actually got his mirror a little early and had cleared Swamp like way before you had. The last item in Swamp, by the way, is a shovel on the left side.
Oh, okay.
And a shovel lead to nothing.
Yes,
Of course.
See Ed making good progress through the gauntlet here and fire odd strats. Gonna make short work of all those guys.
And with you going up 2-0 in this tournament, how do you feel going forward?
Well, my initial goal was going 4-3, but with a lot of new people in the tournament, I think 5-2 might actually be possible. And 5-2 gets me into the playoff bracket. So that's my goal now.
That is indeed true. Anyone with a score of 5-2 or better does go through to the next round.
Yeah.
Well, with this being Swiss, you'll be matching up with a 2-0 player next week, so hopefully you can keep it up. That was a fantastic performance. All your boss fights were great.
Wait, my menu time is actually below 5 minutes. That's never happened before.
Congratulations.
Nice fast Ganon's Tower as well.
Yeah. I thought Sick Kid might actually have something at some point when I was still looking for the mirror.
Yeah, it was quite handy that you ended up heading back to the library when you did and checked the magic bat when you did.
Yeah,
Writing just worked nicely for you.
at that point I only had like 6 locations left to check. No, 7. I had Catfish, all of Eastern, 1 chest in Swamp Palace, Bat, and Sick Kid.
Yeah,
Yes. Both of you decided to actually skip out on Eastern, so we still don't know what's in there.
Well, probably nothing. Seeing as Silver's is in GT.
it was interesting watching it. Both of you actually got your Moon Pearl like within 4 seconds of each other, and both immediately save and quit. Both go to exactly the same place. You were very synchronized at the start.
Yeah, because Eastern Palace is a pendant, and then I don't want to waste my time in there. And normally I try to pair it up with pod. Just get the mirror, complete pod, mirror out, do Eastern Palace. Because it saves so much time doing Eastern Palace just once. But in this case it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that neither of you ended up going in there, because the first time you would have been going in, you could have full cleared it. But as you mentioned, it's a pendant. It's like there's no,
Yeah, no,
not likely.
already
They
had
don't
hammer. So I didn't think there was going to be anything in there that was gonna stop progress anytime soon. So I could have probably paired it up with pod if mirror wasn't that late.
True, especially whenever you guys saw the flute where you did, and then saw that Mara was required. I'm sure you thought that Mira was bound to be somewhere nearby.
Yeah, I thought mirror had to show up sometime because I needed it to complete.
See Aeide going on to his Agnum 2 fight now. 1 more room and then we're off to Agnum.
Starting off there with a nice double.
See if Aeide can have as smooth a cannon fight as HexMage had.
Indeed. I believe he picked up a blue potion way back.
Yeah, I think he found it in one of the. I think he found it was it in Purple Chest? I think.
Oh yeah, he both found one, but I also believe he purchased one
Oh yes, he's well equipped for this fight.
when he delivered the mushroom. There's a lot of teleportations to scan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the number of teleportations, but they are fixed between the seeds, or it's like locked to the seed, so both players will get the same number.
Indeed.
It might have problems here.
Aeide realizing he doesn't actually have silver. Slowly and steady getting those hits in.
Yeah, it's a good fight so far. Just a few more slashes to go.
Playing this very safe. He's got the magic to do so.
There we go. GG to Aeide.
What is wrong with the color on that sword?
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's a bit unusual. The sprite's nice, however. Not sure what it is, but it's a nice sprite. Oh, it's a fire rod. That's what was wrong with it.
Fire rod glitch or something? I don't know. A good game, well played to Aeide. So let's see if we can get him in here as well.
Hello.
Hello, Aeide. Good game, well played.
Hey, thanks. That damn fire rod, man.
Yeah, we have to ask you about that fire rod location.
All right, so every seed I play, I'm either trolled by the ice rod or the fire rod. And this seed, I told myself, you know what? Going into it, I'm not going to exclude a dungeon just because it's a pendant. And that's literally exactly what I did and what really cost me big time.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. We're thinking as soon as you got the Titan's mitts, and it's like it's going to lead them even further away from the fire rod.
Oh,
You
it
had
did. Yeah.
a reasonable amount of a lead before then. You had the mirror a few minutes early, and you had the Titan's mitts a few minutes early.
God.
Everything was going swimmingly for you.
I almost went to Dark Death Mountain and Hookshot Cave and stuff before I went to Thieves Town 2, but I was like, you know what? I only want to climb that mountain once. I already screwed it up enough, skipping the spiral cave, and yeah, yikes. Oh, well,
yeah,
good
we're a
seed.
little worried. We're off to Turtle Rock, to be honest.
Oh god, brutal. Turtle Rock. I would have been so angry if it was in Turtle Rock. I didn't even check Turtle Rock. Was it openable? Did we have? Oh, I had all 3 pendants though, so I get or medallions, so I guess it doesn't matter.
We
Yeah,
still
neither check the entry requirements.
Yeah.
we actually never found out which medallion is needed for Turtle Rock.
Jeez. Did Hex find silvers?
You both went left side in Ganon's tower.
Oh, okay. Man, there weren't too many places I had left to check. That was a good seed, though. I mean, he crushed my PB. As soon as I saw him finish at 130, I was like, oh boy.
It was an extremely
fast
fast
seed,
seed.
though.
There was a lot of items available very early, and a lot of like the writing was very narrow, and it was just like you just go here and get your loot, and then you just opted to just one skip.
Yep, big time. Oh man, if I had gone into Thieves Town when I first got there, I mean, would have been able to go ice, mire, swamp, everything that took long. It was a fun seed, though. I would play it again. I'm excited to watch it back and see how it all went. I assume he dipped Thieves pretty much right away.
He
Yeah,
did
went
so
straight
very
to-
early on.
Yeah.
For the longest time in the seed, you had the mirror, but he had a fire rod.
Damn. Yep. Never gonna skip that again. The one time I don't do Thieves, eh? Ah well, calculated gamble. What are you gonna do?
I think I'd almost always check the first 4 chests.
Yeah, it was up
Fine.
top though.
Yeah, if I find 3 items in the first 4, I'm going to check the back.
That's
In this
fair.
case, we only found 2, and there was a green pendant in the back as well.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Sometimes those gambles just don't work out for you.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
have any other thoughts about your writing in this seed?
I don't think so. Other than my really bad early Death Mountain play, like I think sequence breaking up was a smart idea, but then I finished Terra and skipped both Spiral Cave and Spike Cave, and as soon as I saved and quit, I was like, ah, poop. I forgot to do both of them.
Fortunately, there was nothing there, but we were a bit surprised that you skipped both of them.
Oh, the second I saved and quit, I was like, oops, I can do both of those and did neither. I really hope there's nothing in there. Other than that, I think my writing was okay. It wasn't my best ever, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was a good performance. Still a 148. It's a completely respectable time.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Any closing thoughts, Marjevich?
I mean, this was a pretty interesting seed to watch where every single item was basically acquired in the first 30 minutes, and then we spent 30 minutes looking for the Titan Smiths. It's really something to watch.
Oh man, those Titans mids. As soon as I got them, I felt good because they were in a weird place. But then not finding the fire rod, I was very upset. My bet was it was going to be in Ice Palace.
Yeah, I got the go mode then.
Well, GG Hex, good luck in the rest of your 5 races coming up.
Yeah, you as well. We'll see each other again in the finals.
Hell yeah.
That's it for the race for the time being. There's a lot more randomizer to come in all 6 of the speed gaming channels, and then the 4 A Link to the Past randomizer channels as well. Feel free to follow everyone, follow our runners. Shout out to our tracker, Notch212, hanging out in chat, tracking flawlessly. Good job. Shout out to my co-commentator Marjevich. Good job as usual, man.
And you did fantastic yet again. And also our 2 wonderful racers, be sure to follow both of them, twitch.tv/Aeide and twitch.tv/TheHexMage.
Signing off. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
And we have a game going on right now over on Speed Gaming 4, so I know where I am headed.
See you in chat.
And I hope I'll be seeing the rest of you there, and also for the future. Thank you very much for having us, and goodbye for now.
Bye.